The restaurant was buzzing with its usual evening chaos, a symphony of clinking glasses, hushed conversations, and the clatter of silverware. I was in my usual corner, wiping down tables, a ghost in a black apron. Most people didn't even see me. I was just the quiet waitress, Sarah, the one who refilled your water without a word and cleared your plates with a nod. It was a simple life, a predictable one, and that's how I liked it. It was my sanctuary, a place where my past couldn't find me. Then the doors swung open and the entire restaurant fell silent. It was a silence so profound you could hear a pin drop. Framed in the doorway stood a figure straight out of a movie. He was tall, dressed in immaculate white robes, a gutra held in place by a black agal. His presence was magnetic, radiating an aura of power and authority that commanded the room without a single word. Whispers rippled through the stunned diners. Is that? It can't be. But it was. Sheikh Al-Hamad, a name synonymous with unimaginable wealth and influence, was standing in our humble little restaurant. He was flanked by two imposing bodyguards in sharp suits, their eyes scanning the room with cold professionalism. My manager, Mr. Henderson, a man who prided himself on never being flustered, practically tripped over himself rushing to greet them. His usual confident demeanor was replaced by a nervous stammer as he tried to welcome the Sheikh. Your Excellency, welcome, welcome. We weren't expecting... What an honor. The Sheikh simply nodded, his expression unreadable, and spoke a few words in Arabic to his aide. The aide then turned to Mr. Henderson and said, in crisp English, His Excellency requires your finest table, immediately. Mr. Henderson, pale and sweating, began barking orders, trying to clear the best table in the house, which was, of course, already occupied. The situation was quickly spiraling into a chaotic, embarrassing mess. The family at the table looked confused and indignant. Mr. Henderson was getting more frantic, and the Sheikh just stood there, his patience visibly thinning. I watched from the sidelines, my heart pounding in my chest. I knew I should stay hidden, stay invisible. That was my rule. Blending in was survival. But as I listened to the Sheikh's low, melodic Arabic, something stirred within me. It was a language I hadn't spoken in years, a language tied to a life I had desperately tried to bury, a life of privilege, of expectation, of loss. A life as Sarah Al-Jamil, not Sarah the waitress. My father, a diplomat, had insisted I master the language, its poetry, its intricate dialects. It was the sound of my childhood, a ghost on my tongue. The tension in the room was unbearable. The Sheikh said something sharp to his aide, his tone laced with annoyance. I understood every word. He was tired, hungry, and unimpressed with the fumbling service. He was about to turn and leave. And in that moment, something snapped. All my rules, all my fears just evaporated. I couldn't stand by and watch this disaster unfold. I put down my cleaning cloth, straightened my apron, and walked forward. The sea of frozen onlookers parted as I approached the Sheikh. Mr. Henderson's eyes widened in horror, ready to scold me for my audacity. My co-workers stared, mouths agape. I was breaking every rule of the restaurant's social order. But I ignored them all. My focus was solely on the imposing man before me. I stopped a respectful distance away, gave a slight bow of my head, and then I spoke. Ahlan wa sahlan ya Sheikh, I said, my voice clear and steady, though my heart was hammering against my ribs. Atamana an takun qad wasalt bisalam, kaifa yumkinuni musa'adatak? Welcome, Sheikh. I hope you arrived safely. How may I assist you? The entire room held its breath. The Sheikh, who hadn't shown a flicker of emotion, slowly turned his head towards me. His dark, intelligent eyes widened, just a fraction. He studied me, his gaze sweeping over my worn-out shoes, my plain uniform, my tired face. It was a look of pure, unadulterated shock. His bodyguards tensed, hands moving instinctively towards their jackets. Mr. Henderson looked like he was about to faint. The Sheikh raised a hand, silencing his guards without a word. He looked at me, a genuine spark of curiosity in his eyes for the first time. In flawless classical Arabic, he replied, You speak Arabic? Speak. I smiled, a real smile this time. Nayam ya Sayyidi, I confirmed. Yes, my lord. I was raised speaking it. The dialect of the Gulf, if I'm not mistaken. A slow smile spread across the Sheikh's face, transforming his severe features into something warm and approachable. He let out a soft chuckle, a sound that seemed to break the spell holding the restaurant captive. Indeed, he said, his tone now one of amusement and respect. Your accent is impeccable, more so than some of my own staff. He then looked past me at the flustered Mr. Henderson and the chaotic scene. It seems you are the only person here who understands the meaning of hospitality. He turned back to me. What is your name? Sarah, sir, I replied in English, before switching back to Arabic. But my friends call me Sarah. Well, Sarah, he said, his eyes twinkling, perhaps you can find me a quiet table where an old man can eat in peace. The rest of the evening felt like a dream. I led the Sheikh and his party to a secluded corner table. I took their orders in Arabic, discussing the menu's nuances, recommending dishes with a confidence that stunned my co-workers. I moved with an elegance and grace they had never seen, a muscle memory from a former life of formal dinners and diplomatic functions. I wasn't Sarah the clumsy waitress anymore. I was in my element. The Sheikh and I conversed throughout his meal. We talked about poetry, about the beauty of the desert, about the bustling markets of Riyadh. He was fascinated by my story, which I shared in small, careful pieces, omitting the painful parts, but revealing enough for him to understand that my life hadn't always been about clearing tables. He saw beyond the apron, beyond the tired eyes. He saw me. When it was time for him to leave, he stood and placed a hand over his heart in a gesture of sincere respect. He left a tip on the table that was more than my entire month's salary. But it wasn't the money that mattered. As he was about to walk out, he paused and looked at Mr. Henderson, who was still hovering nervously nearby. "This young woman," the Sheikh said, his voice resonating through the now quiet restaurant, gesturing towards me. "She is a gem. She has more grace and intelligence than you could ever hope to appreciate. Do not mistake the vessel for the treasure it holds within." With that final pronouncement, he swept out of the restaurant, leaving behind a room full of people staring at me with newfound wonder. From that day on, nothing was the same. My co-workers looked at me differently, with a mixture of awe and respect. Customers who had never given me a second glance now greeted me by name. Mr. Henderson even gave me a promotion, but the biggest change was within me. The Sheikh's visit didn't magically solve all my problems, but it cracked open the shell I had built around myself. It reminded me of who I was, of the skills and knowledge I possessed. It taught everyone in that room, including myself, a powerful lesson. You can never truly know the story of the person standing right in front of you. Everyone has a past, hidden talents, a history that you can't see on the surface. That night, a quiet waitress didn't just speak a foreign language. She found her own voice again. And she learned that sometimes, the most unexpected moments are the ones that remind you of your own worth. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that makes you think. Remember to always look a little closer. You never know what you might find.